In this video, we're going to take a look at the exposure adjustment layer. Now, the exposure adjustment layer is another way to go about adjusting the tonal range of your image in a pretty simplified format with sliders for your highlights, your shadows, and your midtones. And really, that's all there is to it. So let's take a look and go ahead and applying this to an image. Currently, I have the penguins.jpg file open, which is included with Windows 7, just as a way to demonstrate what this layer is going to do. So let's go ahead and click on the exposure button. It's in the top row on the far right hand side of the adjustments panel, and here we go. We have three sliders. We have exposure, offset, and gamma correction, though you could just as easily think of exposure as your highlights, your offset as your shadows, and your gamma as your midtones. So as I adjust the exposure setting, you can see that the highlights get lighter as I drag to the right, and we can completely blow out the image. They get darker as I drag to the left. So really the idea here is you're just making minor tweaks. Now, let's go ahead and pull that back down to 0, which I'll do just by punching a number in. Also be aware that you can click and drag on the name itself for finer control. Now that's something that is true of most of the settings inside of Photoshop CS5, so definitely try that out just about anywhere that you have a slider with a label on it. Next we have offset, and this is going to allow you to take the shadows and either push them up to brighten them or pull them down to darken them. And as I start to grab the actual slider, you can see we get some really dramatic results out of that. Now finally, we have gamma correction, which, as I mentioned a minute ago, is just like adjusting the midtones of your image. So as I push this up, we're starting to push this toward the darker spectrum, and as I drag it to the left, we're brightening everything up. And again, you can drag on the label itself to get some finer control. Now that's not the only way to go about using the exposure adjustment layer. You can choose a black point, a gray point, and a white point. So let's try that out real quick. I'll click on select black point. We'll grab this area of the penguin's head. We'll grab a gray point and choose this spot on this penguin's belly. And then a white point, we'll grab this point out here in the distance. And there you go. And you can see the numbers that have resulted from that. We added 0.03 to exposure. We didn't mess with offset because we did actually click on a clipped true black. And then our gamma correction jumped to 0.79. So it's a very, very simple adjustment layer if you just need to make some adjustments to your overall tone. It does have a few presets that are pretty basic, plus and minus 1 to 2. And then I guess really that's it. I mean, it's pretty simple in the end. If you're looking for more control, I would highly recommend that you take a look at using either the levels adjustment layer, or if you need absolute control over your input and your output, be sure to check out the curves adjustment layer instead. However, that will wrap things up for this video. Thanks a lot for watching.